chef d'entreprise de l'Inde et de la France, Excellence, Namaskar. Mes meilleurs vœux à vous tous à l'occasion de la fête nationale. Je vous félicite tous pour le succès du Forum franco-indien des PDG qui s'est tenu aujourd'hui. Cette année, nous célébrons le 25e anniversaire de notre partenariat stratégique.
आज भारत फ्रांस सीईओ फोरम की सफलता के लिए आप सभी को बहुत बहुत बधाई। इस वर्ष हम अपनी स्ट्रैटेजिक पार्टनरशिप की 25वीं वर्षगांठ मना रहे हैं। आपसी विश्वास और करीबी साझेदारी की इस शानदार यात्रा में आप जैसे बिजनेस लीडर्स का बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा है। आज आपके उत्साह और पॉजिटिव प्लान्स को हम सुनने के लिए उत्सुक हैं और उसके बाद कोई विषय अगर कहना जरूरी लगेगा तो मेरी तरफ से जरूर मैं कहूंगा। लेकिन मैं फिर एक बार मैं चाहूंगा कि सभी साथी मिल करके हम दोनों देशों की जो यात्रा है उसको गति दें और अधिक सामर्थ्य दें और हम दोनों का आपको पूरा समर्थन रहेगा, ये मैं आपको विश्वास दिलाता हूं।
All right, so what you were witnessing right now were delegation-level talks between India and India and France, of course, presided over by France's President Emmanuel Macron and the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And before these delegation-level talks with French President Emmanuel Macron, Prime Minister Modi and the French President also addressed a press meet in Paris where they also spoke about deepening defense cooperation, something that has also been highlighted during these delegation-level talks. Let's quickly go across to CNN News 18's Sanjay Suri, who continues to track the Prime Minister's movement in Paris. Sanjay, what has been the focus of these delegation-level talks?
Well, the focus has been really to try and kickstart something happening here in trade and investment, which are currently at quite low levels. The aim is to create an environment and to set up a system of encouragement and facilitation for more trade to take place between the two countries. It is a political belief that the trade potential is far greater than the level of trade at the moment. At the moment, there is perhaps not enough awareness of market possibilities. When French business and French trade looks to expand and to keep up its going business, they usually think of Europe first, of course, then they think of the North American market, the Chinese market. India has so far not been among the priorities, and the political push seems to be to change that and then leave it up to traders after having set up new encouragement and facilitation and creating more communication about possibilities for expanding business and trade with India.
Absolutely. And, India has several reasons to take a fresh look at trade ties for prospects of renewing India's role when it comes to EU. When we talk about the lack, if not adequate trade, but what is justifying or explaining this lack of trade partnership between India and France? Has EU and the lack of an FTA that curtails that sort of trade partnership also got a role to play?
Oh, that has a fundamental role to play, and that has been a fundamental obstacle. As you know, this FTA with the European Union was negotiated for many, many years. It led to absolutely nothing. Oddly and ironically, one of the reasons that it did not produce a result was that Britain vetoed several measures. It had its demands on selling Scotch whisky to India. It wanted higher quotas and lower tariffs, and India was not quite agreeable to that, and that is one big hurdle that's kept up the agreement on an FTA from taking shape. And now that Britain is out of the EU, it is negotiating its own trade agreement with India, and it's come back again with a demand for Scotch whisky and higher quotas and lower tariffs. And these, apparently, the Indian government is now prepared to accept. So this is a rather awkward situation. This does leave the question, where does trade with EU stand? Where does it go? And what kind of facilitation will be possible, whether it can be only for French business or it has to be EU-wide? Most certainly, it could be both. Trade, an increase in trade with France does not need an FTA in place, and the move between the two leaders is to encourage that and speed that along.
All right. And in fact, before his departure for France, when Prime Minister Modi gave that interview to a leading French news daily, Prime Minister Modi said that this is one partnership that goes all the way from the seabed to space. And what a coincidence, what a brilliant coincidence, in fact, that Chandrayaan-3 has taken off for the moon today. Having said that, that was also something Prime Minister Modi referred to. What is the kind of cooperation now that India and France are looking at when it comes to space particularly?
Well, on space, France has been the traditional leader. But India has done a lot of catching up. There has been a great deal of progress, and to the extent that India itself is launching some satellites for France, as it is for other countries. India has taken on a niche role here. At the moment, that is a concentration on smaller satellites. France is looking to do things a little bit differently. It has upped its scale, but there are enough satellites waiting to go up. There's enough business for both to have a share in that business profitably, and for each to grow its own share. So there is a good deal that is taking place there, and that is where technology transfer has been successful and less contentious than it is proving to be over the Rafale deal or other defense deals that are being negotiated. And so on space, the cooperation has worked very well and worked far better than it has either in the field of defense sub-manufacture and transfer of technology, or indeed for nuclear transfer of technology, as we have seen with the delays over the Jetapur project.
All right. That's a very fair point that you've made as far as the Jetapur projects are concerned. That is also something that we will be delving deeper into. But for now, let me also bring in my guest today. I'm joined in by Dr. Monica Verma, who's a strategic affairs expert. Many thanks to you, Dr. Verma, for joining in. As defense was being highlighted by Sanjay at the moment, let's talk about this very crucial aspect to the India-France relationship, because remember, it is the 25th year of the strategic partnership between both the nations. But comparisons are also being drawn with the United States. Remember, because the Rafales have also been competing with the Boeings as well.